Hi, hello. Welcome, Moon Griffon Show. Friday Eve on the Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. By the way, Brandon, it's coming. Okay. When you press the button, it's going whoop through my ears. I don't know why you don't love me no more, Brandon. You just kind of mess with me. All right, Louisiana tax recommendations out there. The Senate race was Senate debate last night. What a joke. It was always designed to be a joke around the nutted up David Duke. The left likes it. The press likes it. That whole thing, and we'll play a little part of that in just a second with him getting in back and forth with the moderator. And it wasn't like Trump. It had nothing to do like Trump. That guy did not belong there. Everybody knew it. It was strategically placed David Duke on the stage, and it's a shame that the left continues to do what they do, and they do it by putting David Duke anywhere by the stage. And as a matter of fact, I predicted and knew exactly what was going to happen. Protests were already planned. Protests were planned at the rally. It was all set up and didn't have to be like that, but they did it anyway. And I knew this was coming. And folks, it's so easy to call this stuff now, to watch it happen. A nothing, a zero, violence erupts during Duke's Senate debate. He shouldn't even have been there. The debate was a joke. Arguments, attacks is all it was. It's always like that. And by the way, if the press and the media wasn't covering the debate, nobody would know what happened on the debate because nobody hardly watched the debate. And somebody can call and say, well, I watched it. That's fine. But you're one of very few. I bet the percentage that watched that debate that votes is less than 1%. And by the way, I'm not cutting the other candidates. I'm being blunt and honest with you. That was a joke. The whole thing was a joke. When you put Duke on there, and all they had, violence erupts during Duke's Senate race. Arguments attack more on the U.S. Senate candidates. Start off with Duke. And it put Duke between Bananas Foster, the quack of the year, and Caroline Fayard, who's supported by Mary Landrieu, the Democrat. I mean, you put David Duke between the quack and the other Democrat. You do, and that's all done all this stuff is done by design. There's not one thing that happened in the debate last night, Brian, if I'd have watched every second of it, that I wouldn't have told you. That didn't surprise me. They attack Kennedy. If Kennedy's the front runner, they attack Kennedy. Okay? Kennedy attacks back at them. It's amazing to watch. And really, Bustani said it best by saying, I don't know what this accomplished. It didn't accomplish anything. That when they put David Duke on the stage, what should have been done was the other candidates. Let me grab them. Bustani, Bananas, Fayard, Fleming, and Kennedy should have said, no, we're not doing the debate with him on the stage. Because he was never at 5%. He's the only one that could have lost to the other 23 or 22 or whatever's left in there. And yet you get this drama that the press writes about. That's how people find out about what went on. They're not finding out about while watching the debate. Hell, the Cubs were on, for God's sakes. And if you already voted, why would you watch it? But like I said, Bustani said the best thing by saying, wasted our time. And I think it was a waste of time. When they put Duke in, I told you all this. There's no way that man should have been there. They should have put Manus in there. Okay, and then let it go. But no, we got to put David Duke because some poll got him at 5%. It just doesn't make any sense. Then let's check this out. Do you think this was a total setup at Dillard University, historical black college? David Duke, a racist on top of a racist who couldn't beat Donald Duck or anybody else for that matter. He couldn't beat anybody for an election. They know he's going to stir up crap. Then he gets into it with the moderator. Now, Brandon, do you still have that? Or are you tired of? All right, just a little bit right here, and I'm going to be done with this because there's really nothing to talk about with this. It was so in your face. I mean, Campbell calling Fayard a damn liar. Fayard booking down, saying nothing in that is untrue, comparing him to Duke, and then they sitting Duke between them. I mean, this whole thing was a cluster. And I'm only using one word. Cluster. The whole thing was a cluster. It was a cluster. I told y'all this was going to be a cluster. It doesn't make it. Oh, anyway, here's the David Dumb Duke with the moderator.
And even the Republicans standing up here have admitted in Congress that the government of this country is used in tax and other matters against enemies.
If I may, you were targeted by the government.
Well, I'm going to finish it, please.
This is not a 1-minute response.
Did you not interrupt me and give me my time? You're not, look, you're not one of the debaters here. I'm sorry, Mr. Snell. You're the moderator. You gave me a chance to rebut, and you're interrupting me. Let me
Federal prosecutors said, sir, that what you did, sir.
See, you're not a moderator.
Federal
You're a
prosecutors
typical
said,
media.
all right, we're going to move on.
Well,
Mr. Fleming, go ahead.
Silence me now? You're going to silence me?
Again,
you're going to prevent me from answering this question
I'd like
because
you
you
to
want to
answer
make a
the
point.
question that I want.
That's really nice, folks.
Mr. Fleming has the floor.
Look, Mr. Snell, I have a right to respond. Because you didn't like my response, you interrupted me.
Louisiana politics.
That's the problem.
We look real good, folks.
Deciding who our candidates
Here's what
are.
prosecutor said, sir.
Let me answer the question.
That's what you missed last night in the debate, folks.
Wait. You're not even letting me answer.
I'm trying to get you. Here's the question I want you to answer.
No.
Here's the question.
No, sir. I want to answer one time at a time.
The beauty of this, Mr. Duke, is that I
That's what you missed last night.
Mr. Fleming, please.
Cubs win. Cubs win.
If you gave me the chance.
Mr. Fleming has the floor. Mr. Fleming, I have the floor. Mr. Fleming, no, sir. Mr. Fleming has the floor.
I get a chance to answer the question. You didn't even give me the chance to make my statement. Everybody
make your statement very quickly.
Knows the fact. Okay, I'll answer. Here's the answer. Okay.
Right, that's good. I came and listened. When you put white trash on a stadium deal, that's what you get. And that ain't nothing but trash. And folks, that's what you missed last night. And that's what I missed last night watching the Cubs. Okay? I couldn't even tune over there and watch that. By the way, I'm not cutting all the candidates. I'm just telling you, when they put this man in there, and the press did it, and this Raycom, whoever this group is, put this in there, you go to historical black college, you take David Duke and put him on the campus, violence erupted. What'd you expect? That was all planned too. Oh, by the way, I saw it on Fox News, Brandon. It already went national, and several times he bragged about him and Trump has nothing to do with him. And that's what they wanted. That's what they wanted. And so what did you get? A debate? You really found out a lot of information? No, but Stanley said it best. Waste of time. And it was. It was a waste of time for anybody that watched it, and I don't believe 1 out of 2,000 watched it. I don't think the percentage is low. When they started watching that, Brandon, I think you even made a comment because you tried to turn it over there. Your bride, no way on this TV tonight. I don't think that's what you said, but whatever. It don't matter. It was something similar. It was a lot nicer than probably I'm putting it.
It was something about David Duke. I won't share it on the air, but yeah. Yeah,
it's just that's what I'm saying though. The media that set this up is repulsive for keeping this going. There is guilt. Duke is not guilty in this. Duke's just ignorant. Okay, he's just stupid. He's ignorant. But the media and the people that put the debate together, that was stupidity on their part. But was it really? They wanted what they got, folks. This is what they wanted. You got to understand something. This stuff is by design. This is what they want. This is why you got Obama. They're still not talking about Barack Obama, the worst president by far I've ever seen with a 52% approval rating, because they won't challenge all the bad stuff he's done. By the way, I'll get to it later in the program. I got remember when I told y'all my health insurance, I thought would go up about 25%. And I'm not making this up. I'll get to it later in the program. I got my health care bill starting January 1st. It did not go up 25%, folks. It went up, and I'm not exaggerating, 65%. My new payment is $3,200 a month. I'm middle class. My rates were going to go down $2,500 a year, according to Barack Insane Obama. $3,200 a month. I'm not exaggerating. I can show it to you. I'm thinking about putting it on Facebook because I've been talking about this for a while. I knew it was coming to me, too, when I moved. And I know how people are being nailed down there. But you don't see the press. They should have been for years putting microphones in people's faces going, what's happening with your health care? And then Obamacare would be decimated. But it's designed to do this. It's going to wear out the individuals, then it's going to wear out the companies. It was designed this way. 65% increase. By the way, did you see Louisiana's new recommendations for tax recommendations, Brandon? Here's the headline. Louisiana's new tax recommendations look a lot like previous tax recommendations. Brandon, it's nothing new. This is what's Mary put together, this fine staff of people John Bell Edwards did. And even he said there are no surprises. They know what they want to do. They want Stelly on steroids. They want your income taxes. They want to keep sales taxes up as high as they possibly can. They're going to come back and tell you, we'll lower that. They want to get rid of your deductions. They want to pound businesses. And you know, through this whole process of this new tax recommendations, not one time in the state of Louisiana did they mention the spending problem. Not Jay Darden, not John Alario, not the press, not anybody on this tax commission. Do you understand? Not one time did they say we have a spending problem. Folks, you're going to be snookered. One day you're not going to have any money. Government's going to take it all and hand it back to you. We're getting there. 65% increase on my health care, folks, with a special need kid. I guess Obama's going to send me a check, right? Take a break. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. We'll be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. By the way, we should hear from Caroline Fayard and former Representative Brett Guyman, who's running the 3rd congressional race. So hopefully we'll hear from them in the first hour of the program. So I don't know if I don't know if Caroline's coming by. Normally she stops by. They may be calling in. I know Brett's supposed to be in studio. Last thing on this so-called debate, Stephanie Grace, who never gets it right, Mary Landrieu sycophant, Hillary Clinton, and Obama sycophant, says, quote, after the debate, epic distraction David Duke makes for off-the-rail U.S. Senate debate in New Orleans. You know, I could have wrote that headline for her. What did you expect? They got what they expected. They got what they wanted. They got exactly what they wanted in that debate. The only way that debate wouldn't have happened is every candidate would have got together and agreed on one thing. We're not doing a debate with him in here. He's not even a factor. He's a non-factor. He's a zero. He's a nothing. And he never belongs in that. But I try to tell people that. It just should have never happened. By the way, did y'all see that? Oh, let me go back to this. Louisiana new tax recommendation. Same old. But the concepts aren't exactly new. Edwards says, no surprise. And why have it? I told y'all they didn't need this task force. They could have called me. The task force said legislature should also be phasing out expensive state business inventory tax credits, benefits local government. They want to lower the sales tax rate a little bit. They want to raise the income tax and take away all your deductions. They want to take away your deductions. Listen, folks, this task force is all about raising money for the state. They never, ever intended to talk about spending. How can you not talk about the problem? How can you have a task force with all these smart people, Jay and John Alario, Jay Darden, Jim Richardson, all these smart people, and you never address the spending problem we have in this state? This is what's coming out. They're going to be shoving this down our throat, not to mention a gas tax. They're not even talking about a gas tax. And by the way, they recommended they don't pick and choose which ones they like to do it all. Many of the same recommendations and suggestions were made in a previous tax study in the spring of 2015, Bobby Jindal's task force, which came up with the same thing. And by the way, Brandon, one of the things they want to do that they're not doing, they want to start taxing services, tax preparers. I don't see this in here yet, but radio stations, we're going to make radio ads and just say you get a budget of $1,000 for somebody. Okay. And, instead of $1,000, they'll tax it. So now that $1,000 is $1,010 or maybe $1,100. Okay. And so they still want to spend $1,000. So anyway, you're going to devastate all the service industry because now they want to sales tax that. See, it's all about money for them. It's not about you keeping money. This is devastating. They want to wipe the middle class out. Not only does Obamacare want to wipe the middle class out, they want to wipe the middle class out with taxation. And it is a sin and a shame what we're watching right now. Record taxes were taken. Record taxes were raised over the last year or two. And it's not enough to fix the budget because we have a spending problem. If you have a spending problem, it does not matter how much money comes in your household. Same thing with the state government. And folks, we better be, and I know everybody's not concentrating on this now, you better be ready for what's coming after the first of the year. They got a lot of temporary taxes they passed for a year, year and a half, 2 years, and those taxes are going to come back, and this is what they're going to present you. And I can promise you, it's not for the betterment of you or me. It's for the betterment of state government to have more than what they need. And so for them to have more, you have to have less for your household. You have to have less take-home pay. You have to have less money for your kids for school and food and groceries and everything you do at your house. You got to have less to make them whole. And yet, how does that help people having less take-home pay? You know, it just doesn't help. And it's not going to help. But this is what they want you to believe. So this task force puts these big names, Jay Darden, John Alario, Jim Richardson, and all these so-called smart people. And and by the way, Richardson is a state employee. And they're all going to come back. All going to come back and tell you how you can make it better by giving us more of your money. So get ready for it. It's coming up, and it's coming fast, and it'll be here before you know it. As soon as we get past all these elections, you can book. It's going to be problems. All right. We'll take a break. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Should have Caroline Fayard and Brett Guyman coming on as well. So we'll take a break. Be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. Somebody who loves Bananas Foster as much as me, Caroline Fayard joins me. How you doing, Caroline? Caroline, are you with me? Hello? Do we have her?
I heard her laughing on the other end, but I don't hear where she went.
Well, I mean, we can't talk to her if I can't hear her.
Oh, I don't know.
Caroline, are you with me? All right, Brandon, cut the line. Caroline, call us back because we had a problem.
Try it now.
Caroline, are you with me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine. I'm sorry. Brandon's over there playing with it. He can't go left well. We don't go.
Minute,
we neither one of us
was
go
it me
left.
or was it y'all?
No. Now, Caroline,
we all the World Series, maybe.
That's up to you. I just tell you, we don't go left well, but I'm just gonna leave it at that.
No, I got her back on the phone line.
Okay,
this one was not on me, man.
All right, Caroline, I opened up with a joke, just saying that somebody that likes Bananas Foster as much as me, and I said, Caroline.
Yeah. Well, you know, sometimes you say a dessert people don't care for, and it turns their stomach, and they have to drop off for a minute. But,
yeah, I understand. But Caroline, just 1 second on the debate from last night is
sure.
Why? And I'm going to ask this question to you because you're the first one to come on. Why didn't you and Bananas and Kennedy and Fleming and Bustani just say we're not going if he's on there? That whole thing to me was set up, designed exactly how it took place. The protest.
You know,
that's my opinion. That's just my opinion.
I agree with you. It was a ratings grab. I mean, I can't believe the clown show that we lived through last night, to be honest. I wasn't sure what the stakes were. They kept, to be honest, I mean, we didn't really know what the format was going to be. It was kind of like we got on stage and then all of a sudden things just started happening. And, you know, it just shows why he just shouldn't be around. He's just such a relic of the past, and that we just let him drone on and on and on. And I think everybody was very disappointed.
Well, I saw
you
kind of making the same comment. I saw Bustani said, "What do we accomplish here?" I don't think anybody can say they accomplished a whole lot.
Well, no, we didn't get to talk about so many things. I mean, do you realize that, but for my closing, there was no mention of the oil and gas industry and the downturn in the industry. We didn't have any questions on energy and energy policy. We didn't have any questions on coastal restoration. I mean, I kept waiting for Louisiana issues to come up because it is, after all, a debate for the United States Senate in Louisiana, and we just didn't get to it.
Yeah, and I'll leave it at that. Like I said, I had to watch the Cub game anyway because, but I knew I could have wrote the script for the whole thing, and that's my big disappointment. All right. I'm going to take you to task on one thing, and I want you to help a brother out. I am steaming mad right now, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, and this, by the way, it's directed to you, but it's not at you. But listen to me. Me and you sat down last time, and I mentioned Obamacare. And I read your comments last night, and you basically the same comment was, hey, let's keep it, but tweak it and fix it. Okay, you sat down with me the other day and you said the same thing to me, and you also made the comment, well, the Supreme Court twice, not once, but twice, said Obamacare is the law of the land. Well, I want you to help me out. You're a lawyer, you ought to be able to help me out. I am a middle-class person. I got an individual policy. So basically, I got Obamacare. My premium, and I got a special need child, and I'm livid today. $22,124 a month is my coverage. I got my new coverage for January. You ready? It's up 65%. I'm going to pay $3,254. Now, Caroline, I want to know, tweaking Obamacare, it's going to save me $2,000 a month? I mean, I'm living. Look what I got to go through to pay $3,254.
I know. Look, it's unacceptable. I will tell you right away.
But that don't help me, Caroline. That does not help me.
I know. I understand. It's unacceptable. And look, let me just say, and you're right. And there are people that it is unfair, and you're one of them. I mean, and I am too. To be honest, I was looking at my premiums, and the vast majority of people in Louisiana, 84% or so of them, because many of them do qualify for subsidies, are going to see premium increases less than $100. That's what we're calculating. That doesn't help people like you. It doesn't help.
Yeah, but here's what makes me mad. I got a daughter. Listen, I got a daughter that's 20 years old.
I tell you that we can get rid of it. It's not. I'm just telling you. I'm trying to be a real, honest person running for the United States Senate. I want to manage expectations for people. Part of the problem is, frankly, the ruling class in both the House and the Senate, which is not my side of the aisle, so to speak. They haven't done anything, and they knew this was coming. And we know that premiums have been increasing prior to this.
Caroline, listen, chat. Listen to me. This was put on us by Barack Obama and the Democrat Party. There was not a Republican can do anything. He would have vetoed anything that came through. This has failed me. Listen, 20 years, I got a special need daughter. I love her to death. Nobody's ever heard me in 20 years get on there and say, oh, poor me. Oh, pitiful moon. And you know what I'm going to do on this? I'm going to go work harder now. I got to go make another sale tomorrow. But when my point being is, I got a special need child. I'm rolling along in life. Healthcare is good to me. I got great stuff. All of a sudden, I get to this mess. And now I look up and I go, hold up just a second. I am the working class people. And hot damn, look what's happened. And I'm livid about this, but your party put me in this position. Not the Republicans in this one. Your party put me in this position.
But what I'm saying is that had Congress been less dysfunctional and less based on partisan ego, we could have been working on these fixes now, real time. If people, I'll give you that obviously this was passed when President Obama and the Democratic Congress was in control. But that hasn't been the case for all of these years. And we have not been electing people that want to admit that there are things that we have to be fixing for working families.
Caroline, this can't fix it.
I'm going to be worried about this now. Yeah. I'm going to take you, and I will come back with the solutions that I would like to propose. But if I can't get in there, then I can't really do anything about it either, even for my own
Caroline, but seriously.
My brother, who's, an entrepreneur, and before this, he could have lost his insurance coverage. I'm a woman. I was paying more for just being a woman. It ain't great for anybody.
Hey, but let me make you feel better. I'm paying for birth control pill, and I'm a man. That's part of the process. I'm paying for birth control pill. Trust me, I'm not going to populate anymore. Caroline, here's the bottom line. It can't be fixed. Obamacare. It should be ripped off its hinges. People like me, all I've ever done is went to work. I had 4 kids, a beautiful bride, and all we do is work, and we look up here. You know what my solution might be? You ready? I might sell I'm thinking about selling my house, taking the money, paying on something, paying it off, just ban cash, so I can survive in the upcoming years because of the lack of leadership, not only by the President Democrat, but by the Republicans. And I'm so frustrated with this, as you can tell. And Brandon said, oh, my God, you going to ask her this? I said, yeah, because she happens to be the next. You happen to be the next guest.
That's okay. You should ask me. And the difference between me and everybody else that's running, that is just a slew of varying degrees of the past, is that I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to go to work and do what I can to offer a solution as fast as I can, Moon. But if I got on this radio show, your listeners are smarter than everybody gives them credit for, right? If I got on this radio show and I told you that I could single-handedly wipe the books of this thing, y'all would laugh me off the radio.
Oh, it's not going away like that.
Frustration. I want to fix what I can for the people, hardworking people of Louisiana, including the 325,000 working folks in Louisiana that now have coverage. I've got to make sure that we take care of all of Louisiana, and certainly your daughter. My heavens, I mean.
Yeah, but you know what's sad though, Caroline? Here's the difference between me and the other 325,000 people. I don't want you to do nothing for me. I want him to keep it fair so when a hard-working person goes out there, he can do for himself. The government is so big, so intrusive, so much debt, they pounding people. There's not a one-size-fits-all health care. My situation's different than yours. My situation was really nice till I got the letter yesterday. And I thought, wow, sell my damn house. That's what I'm going to do.
Last night, what we had was somebody like John Kennedy on the stage reading his list of Swedish massages for bunny rabbits, talking about all the waste and fraud in the federal government, which adds up on his list to about $10 million, when he was asked about how is he going to keep people on insurance paying for pre-existing conditions. You know, we haven't been able to have a reasoned discussion about these policies because I'm running against a crop of people that have been out there forever that just have platitude after platitude. And then you got to deal with some snake like David Duke on the stage.
Yeah, that was horrible. Okay, this is what I want you to do.
I agree with you.
This is what I want you to do. I'm going to let you take the stage just for a few minutes. Give me 3 things that you feel like if you become senator, you're going to be able to try to do something about that's going to make it better for everybody, not just poor, black, white, green, and yellow, everybody. And that's the problem. We pick and choose who we help.
Yeah.
So what would you do? What's the 3 things you're going to do?
So I want to talk about what Louisiana needs right away. And what Louisiana needs is an increased flood recovery package, okay? And so we've got to go after that. I mean, in Livingston Parish alone, my home parish, as you know, there's $13 million that they've spent already just removing the trash, and they're not even halfway through. And we have to make sure that we get our reimbursements, and that now what basically was a $2.3 billion, then it became $2.8 billion crust. Now it's $4 billion to help the parishes that have been affected by flooding in 2016, which is 54 of our 64 parishes. Sure. Okay, I got people that need to get back in their homes. I got churches that need to reopen. You know, we've got serious issues, as you know. The second thing is we've got to focus on, which we did not get to do last night, on the oil and gas industry and rebuilding our coast in a responsible way. I need to drop a bill as soon as I get to Congress, but raising that Go Mesa revenue sharing cap. You know, we need to get more of our money back to Louisiana so we can rebuild our coast. And we also need to index it to inflation because right away we would get more than what has been negotiated. And then we have to make sure that our people get working. You know, I have been through Morgan City and Berwick and Patterson and Lafayette, and people, 21 months of straight job decline in the oil and gas sector. This is crippling our economy in Louisiana. You know, I want to focus on what I can do to get our people, our coast working again. Yeah. So that is definitely, and then I want to go into the kitchen table issues that we're talking about, whether it's health care, making college education affordable. You know, with the changes in the TOPS program, that people in Louisiana, their children are going to be relying upon Pell Grants more than ever. And the federal government is not doing right by students right now by not letting them refinance debt, not making the Pell Grant funding available year-round so people that are working can go to school and have access to that funding. We got to focus on those things to keep our best and brightest here at home. So those are I mean, I got a lot more. As
I know, but listen, this is what we do. We could do it again before the election because I'm getting ready to have to go, but you caught me on my, I was joking with Brandon and him.
Right.
I said, you know what I told him? I said, you caught me.
Not working for people.
I said, you caught me on my time of month. And Brandon goes, oh my God. I said, I can't help it. I am living. Caroline Fayard. I know. Caroline Fayard, thank you. We'll do it again.
All right, thank you.
All right, we're coming right back. Brett Guyman, running for the 3rd Congressional District. You're listening, that's right, to the Moon Griffon Show. I'm pumped up about Obamacare. He's such a sweet man. We'll take a break and be right back. Yeah, it's funny. I had Caroline on, and I mentioned that it was my time of month, and Barney shows up. What's the problem? I'm sorry. You show up in here. What? Your mic's not on. You don't want it on?
I know that you're a brave man, but you're extremely brave.
No.
There are so many things that I want to say.
There's a song about me. It goes like this. I'll sing a bit. It says, I'm in the yellow pages, listed under foods. There's a country song. That's true. Brett Guyman joined me. Of course, Brett's running for Congressional District number 3. And first of all, good to see you. Brett's walking. You go, what the hell am I walking
back
here?
After a while. Is there another slot open for me?
I'd like to apologize.
In advance, right?
When the producer is apologizing for the host, I'm in trouble. Anyway, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
And y'all had a little debate recently as well, but and even in that debate, it was like not enough time to get to anything. That was just my obsession.
Yeah, I think it was. They did a good job putting it on in a quick period because they called us either Thursday or Friday of the previous week and wanted to know if we could be there, and so I applaud them for that. It was a very professional debate. Everyone was.
Not quite like the Senate debate.
It wasn't like the Senate debate, but I think my one criticism would be that you really couldn't answer the questions in any detail because they only gave you 45 seconds to get to it, and then everyone had to answer the same question, so there wasn't a lot of variety of the different questions, and I didn't feel like we got to some of the more important issues. That's my only criticism. Other than that, I thought it was fantastic.
I mentioned it off there. I'll be honest with you, and I just mentioned it with Ms. Fayard. Brandon, to tell you, and you probably heard me, I don't have a bitch about me. Lord's been really good to me, and I have a blessed family, but my insurance premiums, I got it yesterday. I was just sat in the driveway going, wow, what do you do with this? 65% increase. You saw it. I showed it to you. 65% increase in Obamacare. You want to go into Congress. This can't be tweaked. This has got to be shot to hell, gutted, killed, choked down, and thrown in the garbage can. Because I'm trying to work hard every day just like you do. And the fairness to me is not a matter of fair. Life ain't fair. This is because of Obamacare.
Yeah.
And it says it on my sheet. Obamacare this, Obamacare that.
Well, you have me scared because I'm on the same insurance company that you just told me.
Matter of fact, I was
on the same
we talked about it, and
yeah.
you only $200 less than I was.
Of your previous rate, so I assume mine's, I'm going to get the same.
Well, it depends. I'm not in a group.
Yeah, I'm not either. I'm an individual.
Let me know when you get it, please, because you should get a letter in the mail.
Yeah.
But just your thoughts. Don't you think this needs to be killed?
Well,
don't you think if I had a savings account, a medical savings account that I was allowed to have, I wouldn't be worried about it, and then I'd have a little catastrophic insurance.
Well, what I'm afraid of, they're going to direct us all to the point where we're all going to end up with single payer. We're not going to be able to afford, we can't afford these kind of notes when it's twice your house note just to pay for your insurance every month.
I got a house note that's 2.5 times.
Right.
Almost 3 times.
So what's going to end up happening, we're all going to end up having to go to single payer because we're not going to be able to afford to have insurance on our own companies. And I brought this up in the forum the other night. I had read about the increases coming with Obamacare. And they said, well, 60% of the people are getting it through their business. Well, who's paying for that? The companies are not going to be able to continue to pay for that either.
I saw an article said it's going to rise as much as 41. I just scratched it out and put 65 on the article now. The bottom line is this was a hellhole idea. Mary Landrieu voted for it. Thank God she's gone, but she ought to have to pay a price for it.
Well, every single small business out there today is going to at some point have to say we can no longer provide group benefits for our employees.
But that's what was designed. First, wipe out the single people, and then I'm talking about like you and me, and then wipe out the companies.
So that we all have to go on the government program. We all end up with a single payer, and we all end up at the mercy of the government.
But you see, Brad, I think if you're a representative, you ought to be doing things to allow us to go be the best we can be. We got a government clamping down on American citizens and the producers. I'm not saying I'm a better producer than you or anybody else, but, man, I've been in the workforce since I was 16 to 17, but working hard since I was 22, and you're knifing me in the back with it? I do to the government. I'm paying my taxes. I'm paying everything they tell me to pay. They even send me a letter sometimes saying I missed $200, and I pay that too.
Right. Well, and the government doesn't do anything well. We know that anytime they get involved in the market, they distort it, and the market always wins, and that's what's happening right now. They're making people cover things they don't want to cover. They're not giving you the option. You don't have a market choice. You can't shop between vendors anymore like you used to be able to do, and so therefore the market is being distorted by the government mandate.
I thought in Arizona I saw there were 100 and 117% increase. I guess I ought to not complain. I only got 65. I'm curious to see what you get when you get it. Let me know.
Yeah, okay, I will.
One of still the big issues, and as I watch these elections coming around, especially on the national stage, illegal immigrants and immigrants in general voting is going to cause this problem this country hell. And this fact is that if they're not coming to assimilate to be like us, Brett, what are they coming for? And you have in the Democrat Party now is not the party pro-American. It's almost an anti-American party. My opinion, not yours. And I'm really concerned about what's going on at the border.
Well, and a good point, and it's obviously a very big issue for everyone in the race, in any race, the presidential election on down.
Well, your race is important. You will vote in some of this stuff.
Right, and I always like to talk about my time in the legislature because I do have that record, and I did file and author immigration reform bills as far back as 2008. Dealing with the influx of illegal immigrants in our state, which is we don't have the problem that most other states have.
But we eventually will. They'll move them in our state too.
They will. And it's got to be dealt with, but I always tell the story that when I was at the table in the committee room that day to present my legislation, it was a package of 3 bills, and the governor's office was on board, and all my colleagues were on board, I thought, and all these people were in the room. It was full, and I got to the committee room and sat at the table, looked around, no one was with me. They were all there to oppose it.
Oh, okay.
I learned then
Should have called me.
I learned then that the special interest groups have a vested interest in us having open borders. They do not want to stop what's going on.
This is
right
Republican
now.
and Democrat.
It's Republican and Democrat, and it's the people that write the big checks to all the candidates, and they don't want the immigration problem solved. It's going to take a lot of courage on the behalf of the members of Congress to get it done, because you're going to have a big pushback on that.
If you look at what's going on in these other countries with illegals and refugees, we would be stopping them at the border and would never let them go across.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, they have a mega problem.
The other thing I learned, Moon, in this campaign was about the refugee program, and the fact that a guy brought it to my attention several months ago. He said, of all the refugees that are coming in right now, a very, very small percentage of them are actually from the Christian faith.
99% Muslim.
And then the point of that is that the Christians are the most persecuted around the planet, and one of the criteria of being a refugee is that you're persecuted for your religion. And so you have to step back and go, there's something going on here. You have to pause and say there's something going on when the Christian faith is not being allowed to be refugees.
If you let a Hillary get in and get to the Supreme Court, it will be like that. Oh, no, that don't have nothing to do with that. And she'll just divide and conquer. That's what's happening right now. Don't have a lot of time left. What do you want to tell the voters? I know it's a big election coming around on Tuesday. Yeah. Early voting's over. So
some things that we didn't get to in the forum the other night. I'd like the voters to know that I am a strong advocate of term limits. I want them to know that I'm going to self-impose them, and I think that we don't change the culture in Washington until we do implement term limits. I have the budget experience. I was a budget guy in the Louisiana legislature, and we obviously have a problem with the national debt and the way that we spend money. And that problem is going on here too. Nobody wants to address it from the spending side. No. They want to look at increasing revenue, and we can certainly address a lot of that from the spending side. I have that experience as well. And, of course, I was a leader of the anti-Common Core movement.
Do you have to leave?
Nope.
Okay, I just want to keep you on for a few more minutes because that was a quick session. We did a lot of BS. Just to come back, I want to ask you a little bit about the state budget and what they're saying is the problem. I'll keep 5 minutes.
Sure.
All right. We'll come back, more of the Moon Griffon Show. Right after that, I'm proud to own a 65% increase in health care. Hey, man, I'm excited. People say I ought to be excited about it. Sell my house and everything will be good. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, it's your opportunity to be a voice brand. I do want to let people know at 11:45 I will be at Shucks. I got to go meet this real nice lady from New Iberia. And the only reason I'm saying she's nice is, well, never mind, I'm going to be able to go to Alabama LSU game, okay? So that's why I'm saying she's nice. But I'm not saying her name because I don't want to get in real big trouble. But anyway, we will be at Shucks at 11:45. Come out and eat some great Cajun cuisine. The food's great. The atmosphere is great. Bert and Dave do such a wonderful job. But you got to come out there and check it out. I'm hoping they have their redfish this time of year on special. I can broil it and eat something good like that.
Bring me back a stuffed flounder.
I got to eat. I got to eat a dozen raw oysters just for the heck of it.
Bring me back a stuffed flounder as well.
Bring you back. You got invited and you said no. By the way, you said no.
When did I get invited?
Yesterday.
Well, yesterday.
Uh-huh.
When was that?
Well,
I must have been doing about 3 things.
He got married. He went on a 6-month trip. 6-month anniversary trip. He don't remember nothing.
Life is kind of a blur sometimes.
That's right. I'm just leaving. I'm not going anywhere with that. I'm just telling you, don't remember. I was there once. You can't be there but once. I guess you can be there more than once. Brett Gummer, I held Brett for just a few more minutes. Hey, Brett, one of the things I wanted to ask you about, and even though you're not in the legislature anymore, I mean, you serve your time. You were in 2015.
I was.
There. And there was a task force that came out with a way that we need to change all these taxes, which basically increased taxes, stellium on steroids, all that kind of stuff. The task force came back in yesterday, and to quote the governor, nothing really changed. Nothing new here. What are you going to do? You realize with the task force, which John Hilario's on, and Jay Dorn's on, and Jim Richardson's on, I'm sure these are smart people, they never one time addressed spending. And the reason I'm asking you that is, how do you fix Louisiana's budget if you never address spending? I don't care what you come up with, the new plan, the new way to get taxes. How do you fix it without addressing spending.
Well, I don't think you do, in my opinion. And, you know, since you brought back up the legislature, I was part of a group called the Fiscal Hawks while I was there, and we looked at those things and how we're going to get the budget situation under control. But you have to back up and remember that after Rita, Katrina, we grew 15% a year in our spending, and you can't sustain that. We busted the expenditure limit. I remember we had lots of conversations with you and CB Ferguson over the expenditure limit when we actually voted to exceed the expenditure cap. So we were spending money.
The one was about $1 billion?
It was $1 billion.
$1.1 billion, Jendo's first year.
Right. Well, in the previous year, we had done it under Blanco as well. Right. So, and our argument at the time was that you can't continue to sustain that level of growth. Well, it eventually caught up with us, and of course we used a one-time money trick for years to as a facade so people would understand.
By the way, one of the ways they want to fix it again this time is the rainy day trust fund. Yeah. I mean, ain't that one-time money? Yeah. I mean, I might be wrong, but it looks like one-time money to me.
I mean, the way that I think, you know, many of us suggested that we approach it is you back up pre-Katrina, Rita, and you roll forward at a rate of growth of 2.5 to 3% a year, which is what the normal economy is going to grow, and you see where you should be in your spending. And what I think you would find is that we are still, if you graph that out, we're still above where we would have been had Katrina, Rita not happened. And you have to somehow balance that back out, figure out which of your agencies has grown at 300% and 400%. Higher education would be one, healthcare would be one more than likely, and figure out what you can do there to fix those problems.
The big beef, though, is there's an amendment I voted against it, giving health academia a chance to raise their tuition, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to raise it, but if they spend it, they keep talking about all these cuts they had in higher ed, and I'm not saying they want some.
They had cuts in relation to the state obligation, but the fees went up to cover that and compensate that. The graph is basically is flat. So
they're not getting a big up, but they're not getting near the downtick they cried about.
Overall, they're not, because of the increase in fees on the students, and therefore they've made up a lot of it that way. I think the tuition, and my thing about the tuition is this: they have the flexibility under the Grad Act now to increase 10% if they meet the certain criteria, but that we are the only state, or one of the few states, that does have to have legislative oversight. I would just argue that people should at least consider the fact that with those taxpayer dollars that we do put in, that there should be some sort of accountability. Other states don't have a 2/3 vote requirement, but they do have other forms of accountability.
But they tell me, if you really get down to nitty gritty, and they were looking at cutting, we overemploy at the universities more than any departments, anything that's stated out. Now, this is factual numbers you can go with, but nobody talks about that.
No, well, because we all love our university, that's why. And
we all love ours.
Right, and as elected officials, you don't want to make cuts to your university, and that's the real problem. But honestly, if you bring them all before the budget committee and you look at historical growth, and when you see that they're growing at 400%, you got to question them and say, hey, tell me why you're growing so much faster than other areas of the.
But some of them are growing and some of them are not, because there's a word out there also that they're trying to starve some of them too. Yeah. Monroe's one of them. Nichols is another one. I mean, is there any truth to that?
Well, there may be. Again, I think what has to happen is you have to bring all those agencies before the budget committee and find out who is growing faster than the economy and figure out why. Look for areas where you can reduce your spending. We do have rebates and credits that probably aren't doing a return on investment that need to be looked at as well.
Maybe they're using Common Core math. That's why they're coming up with a different answer than you and me, because you guess Common Core and I am too. Bottom line on that too is that we still have Common Core in the state of Louisiana. It doesn't matter what anybody says. I know y'all did some changes trying to change some things, but the bottom line, Common Core basically
it's Common
is still
Core
with
like.
us.
It's Common Core like is what it's a hybrid. It's Common Core like, but at least the state does have some authority over it now, where before we didn't. I would just make this argument back to the federal race that I'm in right now and get off the state for 1 second. Is you have to remove the federal government from education. That's clearly got to happen. That gets you out of your standards-based driven education and in your national agenda that we've been fighting against for so long.
All righty. Well, I know this, all this stuff, the gas taxes coming, I think they're going to pass that pretty easy. Once again, it's a lot of taxes coming on the people. Our economy is not that great.
Yeah.
And yet, taking money out of people's pocket, I don't see how that generates a better economy for people, not to mention the floods and things like that people are still dealing with. One of the reasons I'm a little leery about talking too much about the health care, I know people were flooded and lost everything. Mm-hmm. Job, house, everything. Mm-hmm. And there's always somebody worse than you.
No doubt.
All right. Well, best of luck to you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And I hope that the listeners would certainly consider me on Tuesday, November the 8th. We need your help to get into that runoff. So, Moon, thanks for having me.
All right. Brett Guyman, thank you very much. God bless. Appreciate it. Hey, guys, y'all be good. Good seeing all y'all. All right. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. what I want to do, Brian, we do one or two things. Rick John's here. You can go get him, or we can go ahead and take a break and then get him, whatever you want to do. We'll take a quick break, bring him on for a segment. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. We'll be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. By the way, folks, we are having a Cane River Pecan giveaway today. We'll do it again. A lot of people have already just been sending it in. I didn't do a good job of mentioning it earlier, but if you will email me, moon@moongriffon.com, and just say, I want to win the Cane River Pecan giveaway, but make sure you send me your address. I got to have an address to send the product. If you win, I don't need a P.O. box. I need an address that we can send it. I mean, they send them out. Whoever wins today, we'll send it out today, and you'll have it in the next day or two. So you want to make sure you get a chance. But just send in and say, I want to win those Cane River Pecans, and hey, you got a shot. You got as good a shot as anybody. Rick John joins me, 4th Congressional District. Rick, first of all, good to see you again.
Good to see you. Appreciate you having me on.
And I hadn't seen any polling or anything on this race. How do you think you're doing, and what's the primary stuff that people are talking about in this? I know most of the stuff has been the presidential race, and the Senate race has caught a little bit of traction. Of course, the debate last night, that was a joke. But anyway, just your thoughts.
Well, we feel good where we are. This is kind of where we planned on being. Kind of talk softly and carry a big stick, and that's what we hope we've been doing. Our momentum, we feel, is great. We're getting a lot of people on board with us that, coming from places you didn't even know they were coming from, and so it's been exciting.
It's probably different. You never really run for office anymore.
No, I haven't. First time.
It's got to be a little bit of a different thing, meeting people. I guess you find out who your friends are, too.
Well, they
tell me you want to see how well you like your friends run for office, and you'll find out where you stand.
And you do, but this has been a tough race because a lot of people know each other. A lot of us have the same circle of friends, same people, so it's been a tough race, and you've got to be understanding of that, and just what I tell people, I go, look, when I'm in the runoff, I expect you to come on in and support me then.
Oh no, well, that got to be attitude. Well, you don't want to make people mad, because you make people mad, they may not vote for you.
Well, no, and you got to understand people have different allegiances in different areas, but we've had great support, family, friends, like I said, people that we never even knew have come out.
You out there running, it's your first time, so it's a kind of a tough question. I was going to ask you if you ever seen people as scared as they were about the national election and presidential race. I've seen fear in people's eyes. I looked at my Obamacare bill. I know. The concern of the future, not only for them, but for the kids and grandkids and kids to come. People are, really concerned like I've never seen in my life.
Well, I think that's, the long lines at the early voting shows you that they are concerned. They think that, like I tell people are like, where are you on the president race? I go, look, I'm supporting Trump. And you don't even have to say you're supporting Trump if you don't want to. You're supporting two different futures for America. You're either supporting the future that we know we will have if we have Hillary, or you're supporting a future of freedom and hopefully backing government down if we elect Trump.
Yeah. The Obama-Hillary train is been horrible for America. Absolutely horrible. But some people don't realize that. They really don't. It's like I'm puzzled by any inner city voters who vote Democrat every time, who really felt like Obama was going to bail some out, and nothing happened. Actually, it got worse. Go look at Chicago, New Orleans, the killings, the shootings. It's not pretty.
No, it's not. And like you said, like with Obamacare, I heard you talking earlier about, you got hit, and, you're actually having to consider, look, am I going to downsize my home? Am I going to do something different?
I just built one.
That's
what I'm thinking about doing.
And it's ridiculous that you even have to think about that. That's government intrusion.
Well, I did.
My
wife hadn't yet, but I wouldn't have second. I wouldn't bat an eye, because what they're doing is they're making it hard on a guy that just wants to go to work and be left alone. They say, no, you're in a group with everybody else. No, I'm not in a group of not wanting to work and wanting subsidies. I'm in a group that wants to go out there and leave me alone and let me go be the best I can be.
Get off my back.
They're not doing that. It's a total control of your life.
Yeah, you just say, get off my back, let me live my life, let me go choose a policy that's good for me, that fits what my family needs.
Absolutely.
And, and if it costs me more because of my circumstances, fine, that's fair enough.
Oh, I never said, look, life can be unfair. I understand that. I'm a big boy. I can handle it.
Yeah.
Just don't, government, if you become a representative, Rick, a congressman, you shouldn't want to pound your citizens with more laws, more regulations, more bills. Pound them. The people that don't prosper and do well in this country, I'm going to be honest with you, they choose not to. They're making an excuse. Well, I did this. I was born this way. That's all an excuse.
Well, a lot of that is leadership, too, and we've had a failure of leadership over the last 8 years. And, people need to see the positive. They need to have hope, and they need to think that, hey, I can move forward in my life. I can get a job. I can have an education. I can move forward. And we're not giving people that.
No, it's not. I just don't think you don't pull. This is what I don't understand about the left. Pulling people down don't make you any better. And the left constantly, you can look at all these countries in the world, they pull people down to the lowest they can be, thinking, okay, everybody's the same now. But it doesn't make anybody better. And we need to lift, everybody needs a hand up, not a hand out. And we're doing handouts.
That reminds me of a book I read when I was a kid. And the story was that everybody had to be equal. So if you had good eyesight, they'd put eyeglasses on you and make your eyes blurry. If you were smart, they would put some kind of a little thing to disrupt your thoughts. If you were strong, they'd weigh you down with weights. And that's what it feels like our government's doing to us. And it's time to, again, we got to get rid of this regulations we have. And Obamacare is an example of it. It hurts. Not only does it hurt physicians and patients, but it's hurting businesses.
Well, let me tell you the other thing. The other thing is the border. I thought about that. I've been watching, and illegals and immigrants and people that come over here don't want to assimilate with us, but yet they want to vote me in the process. We can lose our country to that, and this has been massive under Barack Obama, massive problem.
And I agree, and that's something I've been talking about since day one on the trail, and that's and you hit the nail on the head with that, is it's people that don't want to assimilate into our country. They're not coming here because they like our values and they want to be like us.
Some are, but there's a bunch that are not.
But there's a bunch, and if you take the Syrian refugees, for example, they're coming here because their country's being bombed and people are being killed. They're not coming here.
But why do you think they don't go to another Muslim country? Another country that lives and believes in Sharia law and all that. Don't come here and run it.
I think that's what we should do. We should create zones and make other countries create zones to house those people and give them safety. America's about people being safe and helping people out.
We can give them safe. We can give them food and water. But bottom line is they need to do it over there and not over here. Somebody called in and wants to know your thoughts on the need for tax reform. And if it is, what would you like to see done?
Well, I think, you talk about tax reform right now, and what you have is you have people tinkering with the tax code, and they're playing with it, and they say, well, let's change these rates and let's change those rates, and in 15 years you'll feel the effects of it. People need tax reform right now, and I believe that what we have to do on tax reform, I would like to see us scrap our tax code. It's huge. It's nobody likes it. CPAs don't like it. No one likes it. And I'd like us to see us go to something like the fair tax. I like that. There's a lot of options out there, and I think we have to see what we can do. But I want a complete reformation of the tax code.
I've seen the fair tax. That's way better than what we have now.
I think there's a lot of options out there, but I like that. I like a couple of the other options.
It's a shame though. I've heard people, not you, heard people talk about tax reform and changing this, and we get in charge. We're going to do this, but they never do it. You notice we never did it. Well, it's never done.
And now, like I say, I'm a Republican, and I love the principles and ideas of the Republican Party, and I think that they're the future of America. But I get frustrated with my party sometimes. It seems like we've talked about tax reform. It seems like we've talked about smaller government for decades, and we don't seem to be getting anything done. It's time to get out there, and we've got to send people to Washington who are going to focus on the needs of the people and focus on what we need to have happen and make it happen.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things you just said was we got a lack of leadership from the president through Congress. I'll be honest with you, 320 million people in this country and growing, and I don't see a lot of leadership anymore. I see a lot of cow down. It's the way we always done it. Let's do it that way. You can't do that. You got to have tough people. We need tough people now. We need tough men and women to go to Congress. I mean, you're saying it's tough people that are willing to fight for us.
Well, and that's what I've done my whole career. I've fought for people. As an attorney, I've spent 23 years fighting for people. People come to me with a problem. Let me help you solve it, and let's move forward. I've fought for people for their constitutional rights as an attorney, and that's what I've done on a day in and day out basis, and that's just kind of who I am. I'm going to stand up to people.
Talking to Rick John, he is a candidate for Congress in the 4th Congressional District. You can see him on the ballot if you hadn't already voted. A minute left. What do you want to tell the voters? Why should they vote for you, and what would you like to say? Well,
I think that, all the candidates in this race, they have their lanes in which, they say, hey, this is my lane and this is what I'm good at. And, and I respect that, but I think that I have multi-lanes that I'm good at. With my experience as an attorney, I've worked with businesses that have hundreds of employees. I've worked with people that are just starting a business. I see the effects that government regulation has on businesses. I think that's the hardest thing that we have.
There's one right there.
Obamacare. And in that regard, and you're right, my wife is a physician, and I see how Obamacare affects people from the physician-patient relationship, but I also see how it's affecting businesses and how it's crushing businesses, and people aren't wanting to grow from that. The military, we've talked before, I worked with a military charity for 10 years as vice chairman of the charity, and I worked with deployed, I worked with the wounded, I worked with Congress on trying to get bipartisan support for troops, I've worked with Department of Defense on making sure we were doing the right thing. And So I think those are things that I have. I have a multifaceted group. I've worked for veterans. I've represented whistleblowers and I fought the VA. So, I mean, there's so many areas that I've worked. Oh, yeah. And I certainly appreciate your time, and I would certainly appreciate the voter support.
Rick John, best of luck, man. It's close. I bet you're glad when it's over.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm hoping to be energized on Wednesday morning and start the runoff.
Well, the runoff, you'll have new energy, no doubt.
Exactly.
Rick John, God bless. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, folks, quick break. Be back. More of the Moon Griffon Show. Don't go anywhere. Well, I'll tell you that Fred is something else. Hi, y'all. Welcome to the Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Don't forget Walk-On's official sports bar of the Moon Griffon Show. Brandon, I stopped there yesterday and grabbed me a quick salad. They got great salads, great atmosphere. I'm going to let you guess. You got one guess what I drank.
The great Arnold Palmer.
Woo! How about not one, not two, not three, 4 glasses of it. I had to stop 3 different places to use the bathroom when I was riding around town selling advertising.
I ran out of my stock at the house. I'm about to go pick some up.
You know what? Mm-hmm. When you go pick it up, let me know if they still got it for a buck. That was pretty good. I bought 8 of them. I'm out too. But I never went back by.
It's always that price.
Always a buck?
Uh-huh.
I love them people. All right, 844-766-6607. Congressman John Fleming joins me back from the great debate. John, how you doing?
Hey, Moon. Doing great. And, it was the circus that we expected it to be. I was shocked at what I saw, but not at all surprised.
Well, the thing I said was, and I'll tell you now, John, is that I felt like what should have been done, you, Bastani, Kennedy, Caroline, and Bananas Foster, I'm starting to believe Banana Nuts Foster, should have stood up and said, we're not having a debate with this guy. He's not even close. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's your job to do that, but I kind of, because all that was set up. That whole dang thing was set up. The protest was set up when they said he was in there. All that stuff by design, and he steals the show. He's going to get 2% of the vote, and he's a big bag of a blowhard of nothing. And he gets on a stage with people. Y'all trying to have a serious conversation. You're trying to be a United States Senator, and you got to put up with a punk.
Yeah. Well, you're absolutely right. And, I mean, it was obvious that Raycom, which is a commercial organization, this was done to drive up their ratings, to increase their income.
Yeah.
And what happened was the people of Louisiana were deprived of their ability to actually hear the debate and really hear serious discussion about the very weighty subjects that are affecting our nation today. And so I would just say Raycom came out the winner. The people of Louisiana came out the loser on this.
Yeah, Raycom came out with the winner because they probably made money. I mean, my producer, my program director, Bernadette and them are tripping on me because I've been tripping all morning, and they now have labeled me having a cycle. But that's beside the point. John, I got my insurance, my Obamacare rate, and look, you won't hear me complain about my life. God's been good to me, and you don't hear me. I'm telling you, bicker about anything about me. Now people say you bicker all the time. Well, it's about politicians, but anyway, my rate went up 65% per month. I now pay, starting in January, $3,254. My question to you is, can you help me pay it? Because I mean, I'm not the only one. I'm one of many people that are getting bombed, and I think businesses, in the next year or two, it's going to be businesses that are looking up and saying, hey, man, we can't pay this anymore, and yet nothing's been done to get rid of it, and that's what bothers me. Now, I know you've been there, I know we voted against it, but nothing's been done to really shut it down.
Well, we've talked over the years. I'm a doctor, Moon. You know that I'm a employer of 500 employees, and I have to provide health insurance. So at the very beginning of the Obamacare debate, I said this is not based on any Obamacare. That is not based on any type of sound fiscal policies or ideas. What will happen is sick people will go in it, and healthy people will stay out of it. And all of these mandates and requirements take away options and choices for people.
Yeah.
And so we're getting exactly the result that we expected. So I just have to tell you, I think it needs to be pulled out by its roots. It needs to be thrown away. We need to start over and go forth into the 21st century plan. But I will also tell you that Congressman Bustani has said all along that he would rather fix it.
Can't be fixed.
Hello?
Hey, John, this can't be fixed.
Oh, no, it can't be fixed.
And John, the only way I can be convinced it can be fixed if you call me and say, hey, Moon, they lower your rate down to $1,100 a month now.
Right.
But I don't think they're going to call and tell me that, do you?
Well, no, because you see, the thing about it is somebody's got to pay the bills. The government can't pay them because even with 18 new taxes that come with Obamacare, it's not enough to offset these outrageous costs that come as a result of people getting into the plan and running the bills up but never having to pay for them.
But, John, you know what's amazing? Congressman John Fleming, my special guest, he wants to be the next United States Senator. John, the only thing frustrates me about this, and it's not even the money. And people say, well, you can afford it. No, I can't. What frustrates me is I'm being penalized for going to work and busting my rear end. And I'm being penalized for building a business, and I'm being penalized for having a special need daughter. And I've 20 years, she's 20 years old. We've never asked the government to give us one penny. I got people that have been in my ear for years. You can get this. You can get this. You need to do this. You need to do this. Now I get in a position I'm going to have to go do it. And all I've done is tried to do it myself. They're penalizing hardworking people. And this Obama, I'm watching him say, we can't elect Trump and stop the progress we made. What freaking progress have we made in 8 years under him? I want to know. Somebody tell me, because I don't see the progress of allowing people to come in this country illegally. That's progress. My health care premium going up, by the way, $2,000 a month since I got on Obamacare. It went up $2,000 a month. It didn't go down $2,500 a year. He's a liar.
Right. Exactly. Look, in the 8 years under Obama, we've had almost no growth of the economy. Family incomes are down $2,500. Business formations actually have gone down. That is, we have fewer businesses today than when Obama took over. Your out-of-pocket cost for health insurance is higher. Everything has gone in the absolute wrong direction. And so what happens is that more people want to say, I'm just going to give up. Why should I work? Why should I go look for a job? I've got the government to take care of me.
John,
that's a very bad trend.
You know, my attitude, first I got mad. And then I said, you know what? That means I need to go make another sale. My deal is I just have to go work a little harder. And that's a shame that your government, your president, your Congress should not be doing stuff to hurt the American people. They're creating an underclass. So now they're saying, well, to help them, we got to go stick it to the people that are working. That is ludicrous. And look what it's got in Venezuela and Cuba. It's got nothing but pure socialism. Hell, they're telling people grow your own food now.
Well, exactly. That's the logical extension of what we're doing, because as government does more and more and people do less and less, there's no productivity. And so as a result, poverty rates go way up. And in Venezuela today, people are actually they're actually waiting in line 4 hours just for a loaf of bread.
Yep.
They're actually immigrating to other countries around them illegally just so they can find food and hopefully some work. And yet Venezuela has more oil than you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
It could be a wealthy country.
Congressman John Fleming, my special guest, running for the United States Senate, said, Puerto Rico is part of us, and me and you've talked about, they talked about bailing them out. Maybe they did. They can't keep up with everything. But you got Puerto Rico, which is a little socialist area, getting bailed out because they never changed something. So a lot of their people been shipped into Florida to vote for Hillary, and they got a ID card, a driver's license, and Social Security number so they can vote, but they're not living in a paradise in Puerto Rico where everything's given to you. It didn't make sense for people to keep voting that way.
Right. And so ultimately what's happened with Puerto Rico, they're now bankrupt. They can't even make the interest payments on their debt. And why should we think that now that our national debt is $20 trillion and pretty soon the interest on that debt is going to be the largest line item in our budget, what makes people think that we're going to be able, when it's $30 and $40 trillion, that we're going to be able to make those interest payments as well?
Congressman, I was told by bankers, and I'll let you have the last word, that this was a couple of years ago. I've been telling my audience that the people in Washington don't have a clue. The reason why interest rates are not going up is because if they go up, we can't pay our bills anymore. But if we keep doing what we're doing, it's going to be a sinking ship which has become, and that our job growth would be 2%, 1%, then 0. We're under 1%. The press never covers all this on Obama. They could spend years ripping this guy, and they never do. So my question to you is, what is the American people, the average guy, is going to do? Because I'm the average guy, and I'm getting it right in the mouth, the rear end, and everywhere else.
Well, the more and more that we enhance programs that you can lay back and do nothing, and the more and more burdens and obstacles we put in front of hardworking people, people are humans. They're going to make the choice that they should do less, and so the chances that we're going to end up being a country like Europe, Western Europe today, or like Puerto Rico or Greece or Venezuela go up with every day. So that's why this election is so important. We've got to turn this around. We've got to elect Donald Trump. And the system is rigged. We need to change the system. We need to get a big business out of bed with big government and start looking out for the little guy, the small businesses, and everyday Americans like we have in Louisiana.
All righty. Congressman Fleming, best of luck to you.
Great. Always a pleasure. Thanks, Moon.
All right. Good luck, brother. All right. We got to take a break. One more break to go. Your calls are welcome. 844-766-6607. Hey, still got time. Cane River Pecan giveaway. Just email me, moon@moongriffon.com. Put you in the deal. We're getting ready to do a drawing when we get back. We'll be right back. Just hope I don't have one every week. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have. What you laughing at now? Great to have everybody back. 844-766-6607. By the way, Brandon, my good friends at Steinhome.com. Let's try this again. Steinhome.com. You realize they're having Black Friday prices on appliances right now. Save up to 40%. Right now, today, Black Friday prices start now. Better brands, lower prices on all the things you'd like, folks. The top name brand, they got hunting gear. They're doing an appliance giveaway. That's right. You can enter or register. It doesn't cost you anything. Go to the website, steinhome.com. Guess what they're doing right now, Brandon? Founders Day celebration sales going on. Black Friday sale right around the corner. You know, we keep forgetting today is Thursday. 3 weeks from today is Thanksgiving. Is it right? 3 weeks.
That's right.
3 weeks away. Well, they're having a Founders Day celebration sale. It's going to be going on, I think, through next week. And the sales are unbelievable. But you got to go to the website or go to the store and find out what they got. Free $200 Stein gift card with a purchase of a 4-piece Samsung kitchen set. Instant savings on everything right now that you really need, folks. I'm telling you, you need to check them out. Portable heaters with remote for $114. So they have deals on that. Brandon, I'm looking at a Charbroil, the Big Easy Oilless turkey fry. Have you ever tried that? I've tasted the turkey with oilless.
Okay.
You put the turkey in there, you don't have any oil. It's excellent. Mm-hmm. It's juicy, just like you would cook them in oil. So they're having big sales right now. Of course, Christmas right around the corner. There's layaway. There's just about everything. We'll probably hear from Dennis and David pretty soon. But you want to check out steinhome.com, steinhome.com. And you people still redoing your home, and I know there's a lot of that going on. Go to Stein. All your lumber needs and paint and things of that nature. Man, they're loaded up. 12 great locations for you. And you can order online as well. Stein, folks. I trust those folks. I really do, because they're a great Louisiana family and a great Louisiana business. All right, let's go to phone lines. Brandon, I think, let me make sure I didn't I'll leave anything out here today. I mean, I've covered a lot of stuff. Larry, Magnolia Crossing. How you doing, Larry?
It's McNeely Crossing.
McNeely? Oh, well, Brandon messed that one up. He usually blames me. Where the heck are you moved? Did you move or something?
Where is that?
Did you move?
You know that,
hey, Larry, did you move?
No, what's called it? Brandon just moved me.
Okay, where is that, though?
Just out of Colfax.
Okay, still Colfax. I knew Colfax was hanging around somewhere close. You just don't look like a guy going to pick up and move out of Colfax.
No. We got the Pecan Festival this weekend.
Oh, man, that's good.
It's fantastic. They do a fantastic job of putting it together, and it draws lots of people. It's great for the parish.
Good.
But, you know, Joe Biden made a statement that he'd like to go out behind the gymnasium with Donald Trump.
Uh-huh.
Well, you know, I know Biden, he's not in my opinion, not very sharp. But if he would notice, Donald's pretty busy right now, and I'm in that basket of deplorables.
Uh-huh.
And if he just got to go around behind the gym with somebody, I'll go up there and volunteer for Trump.
Yeah, but my question is, if a man wants to go in the back with a man, he didn't say what it was for. Was it to fight him or something else?
Well, we'll have to clear that before we
I'm just saying, in this day and time, I just want to know why two men are going behind the building. That's all I'm saying. So, I mean, is it a fight or what?
There you go. We'd have to have a good understanding.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure. All right, thank you, Larry. Appreciate the call.
Oh,
I didn't. What did Biden say something about Trump? What, he wanted to whip him?
Well,
like that?
He basically said he wanted to. He referred to Trump as a bully that he wanted to take down.
By the way, Brandon, I lost this. Maybe you saw it. Hillary Clinton.
Very vice presidential, by the way.
Oh yeah, Hillary Clinton referred to Trump voters. She called him another name, bunch of names again.
But yet, I heard her yesterday going off about how she's so sick and tired of the negative campaign because you had a protester.
She's been positive.
You had a protester at one of her rallies yesterday in Florida that had up a sign that said that Bill was a rapist and Hillary was a criminal. So she started screaming and hollering, or screeching and hollering, and saying how she was so sick and tired of the negative comments coming from the Trump side.
Gee whiz. Well, you think we screwed up? They had a naked man arrested driving with wires attached to his genitals. Another naked man knocked on a condo door looking for someone to have sex with. I'm telling you, sick.
I could have gone all morning without hearing those stories.
You talking about mental illness? Buddy, there you go. No, Hillary and a king. Oh, here they are. Here it is right here. I know I found this. Hillary now, let me tell you, if you're voting for Trump, and by the way, I voted for him, gladly voted for him over her. She now says she's sick and tired of the negative, dark, divisive, dangerous vision and behavior of people who support Donald Trump. What about the people that support you that burn cars down, beat people up, beat old people up, take their signs, because some of them get electrocuted. I think it's funny. They said it's against the law. I've seen a film of a guy getting electrocuted trying to steal a Donald Trump sign, jumping up and down because he got electrocuted. I thought it was hilarious. Okay? I thought it was hilarious. They say you can't do that, though. You're setting somebody up. Think about it, Brandon. I got a sign in my yard. And just in this case, just say it's Trump. I don't, but let's say I did. And it gets stolen. And I put another one, it gets stolen. Put another one, it gets stolen. So I said, you know what? Be a little creative here. Putting up another one. And I put up another sign, and I put the electric fence stuff on it. And the same fool comes over there and grabs and goes, and it shocks him, and he runs, and he's hollering. I can get in trouble for that. Now, I didn't do anything wrong. All I'm doing is putting a Trump sign, but and he stole it 3 times. But in America, you get in trouble if you decide to, you're going to not kill, not hurt, just kind of shock them into jumping up and down and peeing in their pants. And so, but I'm the one going to get in trouble. Now, another guy, what he did was he put a post and he put it way down in the yard, and he put the Trump signs. Somebody was coming in, he put it by the road. They were coming and swinging over it and running over it. Yeah. Swinging over it and running over it. The dude put a heavy-duty post sign, and the guy runs over there and crashes his car into the post. Well, and he gets in trouble because he put a post sign in it. But, they didn't say a sign, you had to put a certain thing on it to keep it up. And the guy busted up his vehicle and took off and run. Whose fault was that?
And then there's the other one where the guy was able to put some nails at the bottom of his sign that were kind of hidden, and someone had kept running over his Trump sign, and when they ran over it, deflated
popped the tires. That's good for him. Why can't you put nails on your sign? Why can't you put it on the pole? Why can't you attach a little electricity to it? Brad, if I walk by your house and you got a Hillary sign, I'm not saying you do, but if you do, I'm not going to run over there and take your sign. First of all, it's not my property. Number 2 is you can vote for who you want to. If you're crazy enough to vote for Hillary, and that's your problem, because you're gonna pay the results. By the way, I do want to mention one other company, Anco. Disposal and Landfill, Mr. Danny, general manager there. What a great guy. I met him. He's one of those business owners that do a good job. If you're in the construction business and you're looking for a place to get rid of all your junk, stuff that you got to get rid of, there are places around. I know this is in Acadiana. But ANGCO, Anco, Disposal and Landfill Incorporated. His name is Danny. They do a great job. So you're in construction, but they don't take personal items. but they do take you if you're in a construction business. So you want to make sure you give them a call and check them out. But, yeah, anyway, now not only are we deplorable, we are negative. We're negative. If we're not for socialism and Marxism, we're negative. We're dark. We're shining light on her, so we're dark. We're divisive for telling the truth, and we got dangerous vision and dangerous vision. I don't have dangerous vision. I can see 2020. I see exactly what y'all doing. All right, wrap it up to Open Forum Friday tomorrow. Looking forward to it. 844-766-6607. You want to be part of that tomorrow? And that is the Hickson Hazard Hotline. God bless. Have a great day. I'm headed to Shucks.